internacional, Tony Sunshine, está con nosotros. ¡Wow!
Wow.
Yeah.
Dímelo, mi gente, dímelo.
Ey.
Estrella. Por eso que tú tienes los lentes, porque esa estrella brilla demasiado.
Si viene la gente bacana, tiene uno que ponerse bacano.
Pero tú no lo vas a ver con los lentes.
No, yo lo estoy viendo, porque dime tú, un tigre que brilla tanto.
Wow.
No estás viendo todo ese brillo.
Ya pídele prestado.
Que entró, hay que pedirle prestado. Hay que pedirle prestado, ¿verdad?
Ni a Jesús tú alabas así.
Cuando terminemos. cuando diablo, Hey, Tony, you're back in New York. You're on tour, media tour, doing a bunch of stuff. I'm pretty sure you also stay connected to the phone and see like Instagram and see a bunch of stuff. This week we had a fail in the Latino community. The guy that was banging the guy's head.
Oh, I don't think Tony.
The guy that was
there was
banging
a guy
the
performing.
Guy's head. I don't want to know nothing about another man banging another man's head.
We took a loss as Latino performers.
No, that's
everybody said, no. Don't put us in Latino. Put that to the Dominicans.
Está cabrón.
Put that to the Dominicans.
We're taking that big L. The Dominicans on that one.
Eso no tenía nada que ver con el merengue.
When you say banging
a guy's head.
What does it? I mean,
it's hard to explain.
There's a guy holding somebody else on top of his shoulders, and the guy who's on top of his shoulders is with a microphone going, uno.
Okay, yeah.
You saw it? You saw it?
Did you see the video?
I don't want to.
All right, good.
You explaining it to me is enough.
My thing is, what's the wildest thing that's happened to you on stage?
There's been so many, numerous
wild moments.
Things. Yeah, wild moments.
What's the one that sticks out the most?
The one that you can remember is, when you put them, like, como que dice, deme un chiste. You go into your repertoire.
You get stuck.
Yeah, which is the most recent que te puede llegar a la mente.
Algo que te pasó reciente.
Nah, nothing has happened to me recently because I'm like, I'm known to be a no tolerance type of dude. So like, people already are used to like, no, vamos a hacer eso porque a lo mejor no le cae bien.
No le mandes ese video.
You know what I mean? A lo mejor no le cae bien al tigre y
okay. Y entonces,
but I could tell you like pun, like in the pun days and stuff like that, like the wildest shit I seen is like just like 10, 15 girls jump on stage and get naked for no type reason and
sin que le preguntaran.
Sin que le preguntaran. You know what I'm saying? And Pun being who he was, he loved it. But it was like to see it is to believe it. For me saying it and you visioning it is one thing. You seeing it with your eyes is like legendary. Like, holy shit. This is insane. I've seen Pun sit. I've seen Pun go, we walk into club, like let's just say Club Carbons back in the days.
Yeah.
Y le traen una silla para que él se siente. Y él se sienta y ponen la música. And a regular girl just comes in and no es que she's a stripper, no es que la llamaron y le dijeron, oye, Pon está ahí, enúate por él. La chamaca and just gets butt naked and starts dancing on him, and it was legendary shit.
How the fuck? ¿Qué magia tenía ese tío?
Una magia que tenía ese gordo, un gordo chulo, un gordo lindo, y tenía una magia que sin preguntarle a las mujeres
se quitaban la
ropa. Le tiraban encima.
That's crazy.
No lo ponían a coger lucha.
How you met Pun?
I met Pun when I was 15, going on 16, across the street from my projects. I'm from Forest Projects.
Nice.
I grew up under Joe and them. I met Joe when I was 13. In the process, growing up under Joe, then we met Pun. So I met Pun across the street in 23 Park, across the street from my projects. And he used to play basketball, and people used to call him Ergoya because he was like 250 to 300 pounds, but he was dunking the ball, and he was moving up and down the court like a skinny dude.
Get out of here.
So they would call him Ergoya. So that's why in the 100% video, when you see in the beginning, you are now flying Air Goya. Wow. So you incorporate the Jordan, Duncan,
yes.
Big Pun, Air Goya.
Oh my God, that's why the logo and all that?
Boom.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Air Goya tiene que ser bueno.
Sí. Pero tú sabes que yo nunca, I never correlated the fat Jordan, that he had to him playing basketball. I just thought he was like, I'm the best. I'm the Michael Jordan of the game.
That too.
And
all of it. But Pun really loved playing basketball, and you know, a lot of us from the neighborhood knew him from playing ball. And he was also a comedian. If you guys didn't know, his shit was telling jokes and laughing, and you know,
he was a wise cracker.
Yeah,
like he would crack. He would crack
cracker,
on people.
You know, so that was his thing. But so, like you said, he felt like he was the greatest. He was the best lyrically because a lot of people don't know that Pun, right? He studied the dictionary. He studied the encyclopedias. Si tú te sientas al lado de él, él te dice, ask me a question, any question. Give me tell me something about the dictionary, and I bet you I'll tell you what it is. Y tú le haces una pregunta, what does this mean? Y él te lo dice. And then you go to the dictionary and look it up, and it's like, nah, esto es embuste. All right, dude, tell me about this. And you got the dictionary in your hand, and he'll tell you exactly the meaning, what it means, front, backwards, exactly what's in the dictionary.
That's fire.
He remembered the dictionary.
Encyclopedias, the dictionaries, all of it. So,
It's fire.
you know, Pun used to say that he dropped out of school, which he did. He never went to school. You know what I mean? He didn't go to school.
His wordplay was
But his
nasty.
wordplay, his education, and all that was like so great that he forced himself to learn. You know what I mean? Forced himself to understand what high terminology words were, and that's what made him such a genius lyrically.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So he felt like he was the greatest. We felt like he was the greatest. And, you know, so we incorporated.
Let's keep it a buck entre nosotros así, latinos.
Ya
Latino,
vienes tú ahora.
tú sabes, somos del Bronx. That song changed your life, right?
100%.
That 100%.
Of course it did. Well, look, Joe as well as Pun, they had a lot to do with changing my life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But realistically speaking, the 100% record changed my life. At the same time, and I say this respectfully, it kind of like is a gift and a curse because it put a nudge in me breaking into the R&B market because now everybody that heard Tony Sunshine's name and anybody that looked for me to collaborate or do so, it was always like a 100% type beat. And I love that. And it was great, but I've always tried to be a credible R&B singer. And so like I said in a few interviews before, like Pun used to say, I don't want to be labeled as the Latino R&B singer. I want to be viewed as a musician, as an R&B singer. So Pun used to like to say when Tower Records was running or you would go to the mom and pop stores to buy a CD or album, you would walk in there and say, hey, let me get the Jamaican rapper's album, which was Biggie Smalls. Or you wouldn't say, hey, let me get the African R&B singer's album, which was Usher, you know, or whatever have you. Right. So we wanted to be viewed as musicians, artists, not the Latino rappers, the Latino singers. Yeah. We very well know that we Latinos and we know what our culture is and what we represent, but we're making music for the world.
Right.
Not just Latinos.
Yes.
So the 100% record, it changed my life. An amazing record. I get work every year. When it comes, you know, when that time of the year comes, I feed my family, I get money and all that. But at that time, I was trying to break into the market as a credible R&B singer, and anybody and everybody that stepped to me with a 100% tight beat, and they wanted a hook like 100%. Right. And to me, it was like, that's cool, but it's going to be hard to recreate what I gave Pun.
It's like always being casted as the
right.
as the thug or whatever, you
right.
know, like in the movies or
exactly
like having that. ¿Cómo le dicen a eso when they typecast?
Exactly.
So it gave you a typecast in singing.
Exactly.
Okay, but it did change your life.
No, it changed my life
completely.
For sure. I love my people. I'm pro Latino. I'm for my people. I'm Puerto Rican. I rep my flag, as well as I rep the Dominicans, the Mexicans, the Peruvians, Colombia. Anything Latino, I stand for it, not just for my Puerto Rican heritage. But at the end of the day, we want to be credible musicians. You know what I mean? And that's about it. Worldwide.
Which is so dope because now you just came out with a Spanish album and your first single, El Real, is out.
Right.
You have a second single on the way with a video. Perdón.
September 15th.
September 15th. Nice. Yeah, that's my birthday weekend. it's like they don't know what's coming. To me, it's like tú tienes tantos años en la industria cantando y para mí el tú hacer un LP completamente en español es como una sorpresa.
Sí.
¿Tú me entiendes? Porque ellos no sabían que tú tenías todo eso.
Sí. Pero eso es lo que te digo. Si vamos a hacer algo latino, vamos a hacer algo latino. Si vamos a hacer algo R&B, vamos a hacer algo R&B.
But you rap too.
I do it all. There ain't a genre of music que yo no pueda tocar. Cuando yo me pongo la mente en algo, mira, cuando yo empecé en la carrera de música en inglés, the trap music, the R&B singer rapping, the rapper singing, I presented that to the music industry. They told me that it would never work. They told me that, people would tell me, yo, that's so fire, but, they don't do that. And I would think to myself, what do you mean, Missy Elliott? What do you mean, Lauryn Hill? You know what I'm saying? If you listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony, they kind of incorporated it. They just weren't singers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just let me do my thing. Let the cameras roll. And let's put it out there to see what happens. But the music industry was like, nah, we just don't know. And just being a Latino R&B singer / rapper or whatever, they didn't understand what to do with it.
Okay.
So I signed 7 major deals. I signed to Universal. I signed to Jive. I signed to Epic. I signed to whoever, right? Because they knew that I could be something and I was going to be something. And they seen the quality in me.
Right.
But once they received it, they just got nervous and didn't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying?
Because
so
you were still singing within rap.
Right, so they never gave it a chance. Here comes years later, Drake, Tory Lanez,
A-Boogie,
these guys. You know what I mean? And
it's
like,
that's crazy.
Se pegan todo con eso.
So, and look, I'm not bitter. I'm not mad. I'm okay with it. I love it. I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of every artist that's doing it. I just feel like, damn, I did it first.
Right.
Boricuita, un chamaquito from the Bronx, from the Terror Squad, we did it first. That's all I'm saying. Right. Respectfully. We have a Nate Dogg, we have a Montel Jordan, but those guys were different. They weren't trappers. They weren't in the hood. They wasn't talking about being in the hood and busting their hammer and they wasn't talking about that.
I saw you. I went to your page and I was scrolling down and I saw something you put up like a TBT type. You in the basement, and I was like, damn, that shit was hard, and he was singing.
So imagina.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So if you look at that, that's 2003 going into 2003. That's way before the Drakes and the Tory Lanes and all those guys.
I think they wasn't born. It's crazy.
So respectfully, when I say it, I don't want people to be, este chamaquito, este tipo, he's full of himself. He está hablando mucha baba. No, bro, I'm in the books. It's in the history. Do your homework.
It's a document.
You know what I'm saying?
It's documents of it.
Not being cocky or full of myself. I just know what my part in history is, and I know what I presented to the game. I done gave y'all so much style and class, and y'all don't even know it.
That's crazy, son. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
That's beautiful.
Spit in the backs pa' que respeten, coño.
Toda, yo creo que tú ibas a quitar los lentes. Y diablo, estaba duro. Pues.
Es que tengo que mantener el estatus todavía.
Está bien.
Tú sabes que Fallo va a ver esto. Ahorita nos dice un contrato para nosotros. Ahorita estamos nosotros aquí con el TS. Oye, tú comenzaste a cantar como a los 6, 7 años. ¿Qué era? ¿Iglesia?
No, lo que pasa es que la abuelita mía era una abuelita coqueta. Se creía que era jovencita. And she would go to, it was like a lounge, an underground lounge, but it was like family type of vibe, right? And everybody knew each other, and everybody in her age
like
bracket,
a social club.
Everybody in her age bracket grew up together, and then they had kids, and then their kids, and my grandmother's kids, my mom and my aunt, they grew up with their kids, and it was like a social club, but it was family orientated. And then timbaleros, tocaban la guitarra, the trumpets, they would all come from all over the world to that lounge. Y entonces, en ese they had a jukebox where they would play like the Gilberto Moroy and the early Mark Anthony's and the Eddie Santiago's, the Rafi Sabatels, the Gilberto. And it just so happened that Rafi Sabatel, el timbalero, que es hermano de Jimmy Sabatel, iba ahí también a tocar en los weekends. Y una vez yo me pegué al jukebox y me puse a cantar a toda gente. Because I was already singing. My mom already discovered that I knew how to sing and she was flabbergasted or whatever have you, but we never had an outlet. So I would just go with my mom to the lounge y cuando they would put money in the jukebox, I wasn't looking for attention. I was just gravitated towards the music. I loved it. And I used to stand next to the jukebox and belt out and sing along with the songs. And el señor Rafi Sabatel, que Dios lo tenga en la gloria, que murió hace 2 años de COVID. I just found that out through his son. He took a notice and he was like, "Yo, what the fuck is this little kid? His voice is crazy." Like, so, you know, he spoke to my mom. He said, "Look, there's a bunch of events going on. There's a chain of events going on, and I would love to invite him so that the crowd can see the genius in this little boy." And of course, my mom accepted. And the first place we went to, there was, 1/16th 4th of July festival in Spanish Harlem, and they had a big stage out there and the fireworks or whatever. And I think the first year was Celia Cruz en Tito Puente, tocando con Rafi Sabatel y Jimmy y toda esa gente. Entonces Jimmy me lleva para allá arriba y yo canté, ¿cuál fue la canción? La primera, porque yo canté muchas veces con ellos, but it was the Anda y ve.
Get out, that's dope.
Anda y ve, no lo hagas por mí, si al fin y al cabo somos solo amigos. And then the band just started playing behind me and the crowd went crazy and the old ladies were going on stage.
The old ladies was going on stage.
Yeah, they was going on stage and people were shaking my hand, and then the following year I went and the following year I went. Pero tú te tienes que recordar que esto fue en el 84, 85, 86. Y ya tú sabes que las cosas estaban pasando mal en Nueva York.
Sí, sí.
And, thank God that my mom, right, she never fell victim to the crack epidemic or the things that were going on, but still we were affected.
You were in it.
We were in it.
You were surrounded by it.
We were surrounded by it, so we were affected by the poverty and we were affected by the shit that was going on in our surroundings. So, we had to go through several things, and my mom was a single mom and she struggled a lot, in her lifetime, and her upbringing was a little different and things like that. So we went on to go to a shelter system for a numerous amount of years, and due to that, we lost contact with the musicians and things, and we weren't able to, in the process, about when I turned 11, the system finally found us a place to live, which was Forest Projects.
Get out. Right? Out of all the places, that's where you landed.
Boom. So I land in Forest Projects. When I get into Forest Projects, I discover hip-hop and R&B. I fall in love with that. Not that I put my culture and
on hold or
my beginnings to the side, but I fell in love with a whole new sound. And then the majority of music that people listen to in the projects is hip-hop and R&B.
English music. Going
into 88, 89, 90, is a whole different vibe. So now I find myself 11 years old, going on 12.
Junior high school.
I'm hearing about this guy, Fat Joe, and the Terror Squad. And Terror Squad was already a
thing?
Yeah, Terror Squad was already Terror Squad has been a graffiti crew, a football team, de todo.
Yeah.
It became a street crew, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
Él tenía un marketing completo.
Right. So, through mutual friends and all that, right? I was gravitated because I always loved music, and to see un hispano como yo, un latino como yo, breaking into the market. I hear that he's working on his whole new album, and I'm already a fan of what's going on. TS, right?
Yeah.
Tengo 12 años, going on 13, And so, you know, I said, how do I go about letting him know I sing? And they told me, yo, grow some balls. They tell a little kid, yo, grow some balls, go over there and sing.
Grow some balls, B.
Right, so I grow some balls. I did. I grow some balls. I stepped to him, right? He was already socialized. He grew up with Showbiz and AG and Diamond D. All those guys come from my neighborhood as well. So I come from like a legendary block, SWV. They all come from my neighborhood.
Get out of here.
So, you know, Joe was already popular with those guys or whatever. So anyway, I sing something for him, which was Forever My Lady by Jodeci. And I tell him I sing. He looks at me like, you know, like, yeah, all right.
Like everybody tells me they sing.
Pero cuando yo le canto algo, me mira and he said, oh, shit, yo, you really sing, you little, you know, whatever. What he says to me. And so, you know, usually people like that, they give you promises and they tell you certain things and they don't fall through. He told me, yo, you know, I'll spin back around one day and we'll talk again. I'll come by one day soon. I didn't think that the one day soon was going to be the very next day. The very next day, he pulled up in a black MPV with God Bless the Dead Full Flex, told me to jump in. And we took off. I went with him on a run to Relativity Records, which was the first label he signed to. You know what I'm saying? Which if I'm not mistaken, later on, Steve Rifkin and them, it turned into Loud Records,
that's what I was going to say. That was Loud Records.
Yeah, so cool. So, you know, I've been around it for quite some time, since I was 13 years old.
And you were signed then?
No, I wasn't signed then. So what happens is Joe tried to secure a deal with me with High Five. Right? He took me to go see High Five. I sang for High Five. They thought I was incredible. But again, I'm a young kid. You know, I need guidance. You know what I'm saying? Joe's becoming a rapper. He's doing his own thing. He don't got time to hold my hand. My mom, you know, whatever have you. So you got to wait your turn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
During the process, we meet Big Pun. Joe's a rapper. Pun is phenomenal. Joe falls in love with Big Pun, and the rest is history.
That's crazy.
But I was just happy being able to be a part of it, period.
When was the first time you heard yourself on the radio?
The first time I heard myself on the radio was myself by myself or on the record?
your own record. Well, what happened first?
Well, the first time I heard myself on the radio, we used to go to this place called the Playhouse in the Bronx, right? And they used to have open mic.
Right.
And I was about 16. I was about 16, 17 years old. The Melly Mel and Scorpio, the rappers, the legends, the originators, they used to host open mic, and plus they had a slot in Hot 97 back then.
Oh, wow.
And they fell in love with whatever I was doing, and they invited me to go up there to Hot 97 and interview me and for me to sing something. No deal. I had no record deal, no nothing. They was just on there. Yo,
this just
come
happened
up there.
from the event.
From the event, they was like, yo, we want you to come up to the radio station. And so I went up to the radio station and I sang my first song I ever wrote, you know, whatever up there, freestyle, whatever have you. And then, you know, my little girlfriend at the time and people that were with me, they recorded it. And I went home and I heard it and I was like, holy shit.
I'm on the radio.
I'm on the radio.
All right. Now, when did it happen organically where you didn't go to the radio, where it just happened? You
part
was
of this playlist.
Ande tu estaba.
So now time goes. You know, I was away from the neighborhood for a while. I used to get into a lot of trouble. I leave the neighborhood for a while. During the process, it's happening for Pun. You know, it starts happening for him or whatever have you. And so one day he pulled up to the neighborhood I was staying in, and they was like, yo, Big Pun is looking for you. And I was like, Pun is looking for me? Oh, shit. He came looking for me. He was like, Leo, little bro, get in the van. We out. Forget about all the shit. Forget about all that. I want you to be a part of this again. And so I jumped in the van, and here comes a van again, right? I get in the van. We break out. I go to his house with him. We start chilling, hanging out, writing this, that. Like 2 days later, he gets a phone call to go to the studio. Go to the studio. The session is with Naughty by Nature.
Okay, Chercha
and them. And they're working on a song. It's called We Can Do It. And so they want Pun to jump on a song. And, you know, Pun was like this. Pun was always wanted to incorporate his people and bring his people on and whatever have you. So he told Chercha, I'll do the record, but you got to let my little brother sing on it. All right.
Man said, "Oh shit!"
All right,
Big
so that was my first time in a real recording studio and a real vocal booth where it was like, oh shit, I'm actually in a real studio
where artists do it.
Yeah, I'm actually with real artists, signed artists. Pun is already Big Pun. He already got capital punishment now. He's like a real phenomenon.
Platinum.
It's platinum.
First Latino to go platinum.
So I jump on that record. We could do it. It's track number 12 on Nature's Fury. We can do it. And then, when their album
played on the radio.
Yeah, when their album comes out, one day somebody calls me and says, "You're on the radio. You're on the radio." And I was like, "Where?" And I go to the radio and they playing track number 12. We can do it. Naughty by Nature featuring Big Pun and Tony Sunshine.
You remember where you were?
Boom, I'm in the projects.
Yeah.
You was in the projects? That's dope, nigga. That's dope. You say, yeah, bitch.
No habíamos mudado todavía.
No habíamos
Deja que
mudado
esta
todavía.
vaina suene para que tú veas.
Pero estamos en la radio.
Ya estamos en la radio.
Ya estamos recogiendo y despidiéndonos de la gente aquí. Estamos sonando en la radio. El que suena en la radio no vive aquí.
They came out the next day looking at bitches that...
You know who I am?
You curved, bitch.
Curved.
But yeah, man, I've been blessed. Both Joe, both Fat Joe and both Big Pun, they both have been very instrumental and key in my career, whether good or bad or up and down. They've always supported me and they've always pushed me to be a better me. You know what I'm saying? Here I am again, reinventing myself and crossing over into the Latino market. And Joe is just like right there with me. Like he's right there like, yeah, this is what you're doing. And he's pushing me and he's supporting it 100%. So I'm blessed.
That's so dope. Let's talk about present day. You got a Spanish album.
I think a lot of people have been waiting for it because it's like, we've seen you in the English market and everyone knows like, yo, you could do it in Spanish too.
Right.
So it's like, okay, now he's coming over.
But I want the people, but what I was telling you earlier, I want the people to know, right, that it's never about that I forgot about
your culture.
My culture. It's never about me forgetting about my humble beginnings or anything. It's just that I've been fighting so hard for us in the R&B world. I've been fighting so hard for us to be taken serious as credible artists in that genre of music. And respectfully, there's never really been one. And I've never got my fair just due because I'm Latino.
You feel like, but don't you have,
you have
a gold record?
Yeah, I do.
But it doesn't take away from the fight.
It doesn't. Thank you, brother. Appreciate
it's
that.
like,
I mean, I'm just saying, no son muchos que pueden decir, yo tengo un gold record.
I see.
¿Tú me entiendes? Like, that's not easy accomplishments.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Para el que diga, no, que ahora viene este a cantar en español. And if you don't know the story, then you don't know.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
True. Yeah.
But if you don't know the story, then you won't know. Pero que lo estoy haciendo con todo respeto y lo estoy haciendo muy bien. Que yo no vengo trabajando y presentando música que suena como si estoy tratando. Yo lo estoy haciendo porque yo vengo haciendo esto toda mi vida.
Exacto, exacto. Lo que pasa es que
hay seguridad en el trabajo.
Tú no habías soltado música en español, pero tú siempre lo has cantado porque ese es tu
I mean, like I said before,
that's your native language.
100% says it all. That's a song I've been singing my entire life. Whether we was joking about it or I was singing it seriously, and me and Pun talked about it many a times, way before, years and years before we actually decided
to record
it. You know what I mean? And it was because Pun was tired one day. We was in North Carolina recording the Yeah Baby album, right? And Pun was in the process of getting his health right and losing weight. That's why he says in the song,
I lost 100 pounds. Yeah.
So we was in North Carolina. We was in the pool every day swimming. It was one of the days that he was, exhausted, and he'd been writing and he'd been in the studio for a long period of time. And he said, I'm going to go take a break. I'm going to go take a nap. And I said, well, I'm going to stay behind. Do you mind if I actually record those vocals we've been joking about the entire time? And he said, do your thing. He comes the next day. He says, let me hear what Tony did. Well, Sean C., who used to be head A&R over at Loud Records, and he was actually one of the X-Men or whatever have you. If I'm saying it right, but I know Sean C was head A&R over at Loud Records. He actually A&R'd my project at Loud because I was signed to Loud as well. That was my first record deal. And he gave us the instrumental, the 100%. He actually produced it.
Nice.
So we had the beat in North Carolina, whatever have you, and I asked Pun, while he went to go get some rest, can I record that hook? He told me, go ahead. The next day he came in and he was like, let me hear what Tony did. And he loved it. And he started writing right there. So after he laid his verses, I'm sitting there and I'm listening and I'm listening and I'm listening and I'm like, yo, falta algo. No sé qué le falta, pero le falta algo. Otra vez dice que se cansa y que quiere ir a acostarse and get some rest. So I look at him and I tell him, yo, do you mind if I put the Puerto Rican anthem on this song? And he looked at me. And he just smiled and he was like, let's see. Boom, he goes, descansa y viene para atrás el otro día. Vamos a oír lo que hizo el chamaquito. And the rest is history.
That's fire.
Yeah, that's crazy. I wanted to know because
fire.
right in the song, as soon as it starts, he goes, "Toma,"
Toma.
like when did he add that? Had you already done your stuff and then he did his, or did you get to hear when he did that?
Well, what happened?
Yeah.
So what happens with Pun is that Pun is like we said, he was a comedian. He was a 24-hour joker. So we had so many takes of Pun doing tomas and going with his mouth and breathing heavy.
Okay,
and,
he's like
and chewing on ice and saying "Earth the Pun, coming Pun." So that's why on some of the skits we have him saying "coming." He actually passed on way before we got to finish up the album, and so the album was mixed and mastered way after he passed on. And Joe, Joe had a lot to do with the creative process and shit like that. So, a lot of what you hear we already had. A lot of those takes we already had.
But it's just them recording Pun without him.
Right.
It wasn't a planned thing.
And I thought you didn't like the beat. Right before I say, te digo que no se ha acabado.
Oh, yeah,
and Pun goes, I go, te digo que no se ha acabado. And Pun goes, I thought you didn't like the beat.
Yeah.
He was talking about, I'm not going to tell you who he was talking about, but he was talking about somebody that said they didn't like the beat. I thought you didn't like the beat.
Got it.
So it was like I thought look, we already knew.
My man looked at the
because like I said, we always knew that it was going to be a 50-50 chance going that route and incorporating our culture and our heritage into the hip-hop community. It could either band it together and it could make a big impact because he already had the Boricua, and that went well. That went well. You know what I mean? So this was a bigger risk.
Came an anthem.
It was a bigger risk. So,
The news today is saying that there's aliens.
Pues hace años que está.
Pero hace años, papi, ¿tú te
Do you
crees?
believe in aliens?
I believe in the cucos. I believe in aliens. I believe in spirits. I believe in everything, bro.
I'm
Eso
with
es
you.
mentira, manito.
No, manito, no.
¿Tú has visto un ghost?
Sí.
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 Oh, man.
¿Era prieto o era blanco?
No, era quien era.
No, porque yo digo
que
nunca han existido de que tú, de que ves, de que
Pero uno no ve, cuando uno ve un espíritu o algo, lo que ve es un celaje. ¿Me entiendes?
Eso sí, yo
y
creo
se siente algo, no
eso
es,
sí, yo
no
creo que
es,
esa energía,
no es que el espíritu te puede tocar y te puede ahorcar y te puede meter una garnatada o una pata por el culo, nada de eso.
Porque yo hay gente que dicen que
los espíritus
le abren los gabinetes y vaina.
I believe in that. I believe in that.
A un ser humano no le pueden topar.
I believe in that. Mira, I don't want to get into it.
Dime una historia
yo
tuya.
Me crié
yo te
en
voy a
una
decir
casa,
una.
Mira, yo me crié en una casa en Puerto Rico por 3 años donde se murieron como 20 personas en esa familia y toda la funeraria en la casa. ¿Y qué se hace en Puerto Rico?
Ahí mismito, en la sala.
Ahí mismito en la sala se hace ¿qué?
El
velorio.
Los rezos, ahí mismito.
I mean, so imagine how traumatized I was as a kid that when people would die in that house, they would do the, ¿verdad? Y había dos momentos que uno oye cositas que no está supuesto oír. Y cuando se levanta, mira, me, my mom, and my sisters would go to sleep with dirty dishes and wake up in the morning and the dishes would be clean and put together. So look, I don't mean to sound like a weirdo. I'm not trying to be a weirdo. None of that.
This is
eso, mira, eso yo lo juro por mi madre, that has happened to us in Puerto Rico when we was kids.
That's scary,
Y
bro.
yo he visto cosas que la gente, you know, I don't get into it with certain people because not everybody believes and not everybody has had those type of experiences to say, yo, he's not lying. But me personally, I've been through certain things as a kid and I've seen certain things and I've felt certain things that I believe.
Yo tenía un apartamento en University.
Oye, aquí.
Que cuando yo vivía ahí, ¿verdad? En mi cocina, había un ghost. There was a straight up ghost that lived in my kitchen, right? Y si yo estaba sentado aquí en la sala y tú estabas sentado de aquel lado, tú podías ver la cocina, pero yo no, right? Because I'm facing you. So the people that will come sometimes, ellos tenían like esa visión, you know, I don't know what you call that. When you un poder o poderes, sixth sense, vamos a decir. And they used to tell me like, yo, you know, you have something there. And I used to be like, no le hable, no le diga nada, no lo moleste, que a mí esa persona no me... Y yo lo veía, el celaje.
So, ya tú sabes.
Pero no era un espíritu.
Otra cosa que nos pasaba. Un tío de la hermana mía que le gustaba beber Budweiser and he used to like to play pool. He died in the house. They did the joint in his house. We didn't have Budweisers and pool sticks in the house, you know, in the house or none of that. We would wake up sometimes in the morning time and there would be a Budweiser and a pool stick in the living room. Who the fuck bought that in the house? Yeah. Why is this in the house?
Damn, dog.
All right.
Yeah, I would have left.
No, but we went through a lot in PR, you know, and again, that was in the early 80s.
Y alguien vino a Santigua después para despojar todo eso.
Bro,
no, porque nosotros éramos bien pobres. Yo caminaba en Puerto Rico y iba para la escuela sin tenis, sin nada, descalzo.
Y te ponía una curita.
All of that.
No, my father told me that. My father said that him and his brother used to share shoes. So, ellos tenían que ponerse uno y ponte tú la izquierda y yo me voy a poner derecho y ponerse una curita en un dedo y decir que estaban heridos para poder tener zapatos.
Mira, el que sabe, sabe. El que me llame loco, que se lo mamen 10 veces.
Yeah.
El que sabe lo que yo estoy diciendo y pasado por lo que yo he pasado y he visto lo que yo he visto, sabe que estoy diciendo la verdad.
La verdad.
Y el que no crea, al carajo.
Porque es que para la opinión, pero si tú lo viviste, tú eres el único que lo puedes contar.
La cámara ahora, every house is under surveillance, han dañado todo eso. Porque ahora salen los celajes así como pasando y vaina a veces. Entonces no están tranquilos. Antes no había cámara ni nada. So
ahora la cámara lo agarran.
Yo no sé, I don't know nothing about no aliens. I don't know nothing about no extraterrestrials, but I know for a fact que los espíritus existen.
Bueno, el tigre, a U.S., I think he's a marshal. What is he, Jonathan? The guy who confessed that there are UFOs and that they have been dealing with
un loco.
Aliens for a long time.
Wait. Three people retired or one person retired officials. 3 times?
No, it's 3 guys that are retired and coming out. And you have to be sworn in to talk about these type of topics. So the government knows they're talking about it too.
That's insane.
Right.
And they're
under
oath.
I don't want to talk about it. The government is going to knock on my door.
No.
We're going to have to exterminate you now, sir.
No queremos coro con esa gente.
No,
Please gather one belonging and follow me.
Yeah. Gather one belong.
eso, tú sabes que yo no creo nada en eso de Illuminati ni esa. Eso es mentira.
Eso también es mentira.
Eso es mentira. Esos tigres no
que si
existen.
mierda, que si coño.
Ellos
eso es
hay
mentira.
gente que matan y gente que no. Y
Así.
Ya, es verdad.
Eso de que Illuminati, que vainita. ¿Dónde están? ¿Por qué no mandar los cuartos?
Oye, el otro. Ok.
Bueno, mi hermano.
Espérate.
Ha sido un placer.
Ha sido un
Gracias por tenerme aquí en el podcast.
I
Ya
ain't gotta
ustedes
go,
saben.
but I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yo,
pero es
Tony,
Nah, my brothers, I appreciate you guys having me.
Listen, before we even leave though,
Right.
You do have some surprises on the album. I want to spoil something about what's coming after September 15th. Can I? Can I spoil
As
it?
of
La bachata.
la diabla, habla
Yo,
de eso.
I can't. I'm excited about that.
Habla de eso, papi.
El hombre tiene una bachata en su álbum que ya ustedes saben, esto va a prender toda la pista de bailar y suena bacanísima. Te estoy hablando, oye, es tanto que el hombre no hizo un solo jam porque él hizo el EP en español y hasta un bolero tiene.
Beautiful.
Te estoy hablando de, ya tú sabes, Suave 93.1 para que te pegue.
Besándome otra vez, suave.
Before you leave,
Oh, ¿cuántas
can
veces?
you just give us a little bit of that song?
¿Cuál de
Just, es más, canta el que tú quieras. Yo no sé, pero tú canta. Bájale los panties una jeva.
Tú
Déjame.
me la cantaste, yo te la pedí, pero no me gusta cogerla pa' ti.
That's dope.
You heard?
Yo, Tony Sunshine in the house.
Hermano.
Ladies and gentlemen, the
My
new
brother.
album will be out soon. You got El Real streaming now. You got Perdón on the way September 15th. Any performances coming up in New York?
We have pardon me, guys. We have a few shows coming up. Everything is in the works. We have a promo tour as well, and we just putting it together, you know. As you know, the song just came out a few weeks ago, and what we doing now is just building a platform for it, and we
Moving.
moving on.
Moving
That's so dope.
You know what I'm saying?
What is the name of the album?
So here it is, right? I don't have a set name for it. I have to hurry up and find one. But
It'll come.
here's my thought, right? My mom's dream was always for me to be a Latin singer, right? Oh, shit. And I don't know if you guys noticed, I call myself Wanda's son, hashtag El Hijo de Wanda. So I think that the album will be called El Hijo de Wanda.
Nice. I love it. Nice. A dedication to mom.
That's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Thank
Tony
you, my
Sunshine,
brother.
ladies and gentlemen. Eso fue la Chercha. Dopeness.
You need the law, bulldog.